To me, in this YahLahBut podcast, Ong Ye Kung appeared genuine, showing clear and composed answers.
But 2011 is when you lose a GRC.
Yeah.
And I suppose being in the thick of it, I also then realized people really want an alternate voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At that time, the slogan of world-class parliament, it did resonate with people.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever people felt that government wasn't doing enough, they hope the opposition can voice those sentiments. So I think it is a given, in my view, it is a given that our parliament will have opposition. It is, to me, unfathomable, that we can have another wipeout and another rewind back to 1966 when the entire parliament is dominated by PAP. It's just not possible. Yeah, I think freely elected opposition is a fact of life from now on. There's definitely, with better education, with social media, there's definitely a desire for voices to be heard, individual voices to be heard, for people to feel that they have agencies. So, therefore, our approach to governance also have to evolve with the times.
When answering questions, he spoke with humility, rarely referring to himself and preferring to use words suggesting teamwork.
Form a task force, look at all the positives as well as to cushion and help out with the negatives. So he has appointed Mrs. MOS Alvin Tan to do this. Two of our advisors, Ms. Mariam Jaffar and Ms. Henny So, are in the task force, and they will look at all the possible measures. It'll take about a year to come up with the measures. But I think it's an exciting time. Exciting time to now have JB, a huge hinterland that we can synergize our economies with.
He also showed a willingness to learn from other countries.
So many countries have aged before us. Japan, most parts of Europe, they have aged 5-10 years ahead of us. Japan probably 20 years ahead of us. So just look at how they manage aging. I think that gives us a lot of lessons.
And had a sense of humor.
Like if tomorrow you could just, change it, like everyone stop eating char kway teow or something. Is there one thing?
No, they cannot. If I snap my finger, no more char kway teow, I will lose the next election.
But if there's one thing.
And then there's the GE 2025 rally, Ong Ye Kung.
I spoke to MINDEF and say, can you give us some land to build a hot spring park? MINDEF agreed. That's why today we have a hot spring park. If it was SDP in charge, do you think hot spring park will happen? I raised money for the performance stage I talked about at Sembawang Park. If it's SDP in charge, you think a stage will come out in Sembawang Park? I cannot do this if I'm not Minister for Health and MP at the same time. The SDP thing is a problem. I think they are just trying to hoodwink you. I can best serve you when I'm both Minister and MP.
Who is this? Can you go stun to the humble and genuine Ong Ye Kung, please? He even blamed SDP's proposals as fake and claimed that alternative parties are here to cast doubt, make you angry, tear things down, and that alternative parties don't have to care.
Easy, so good, usually is real or fake. When something sounds so good, usually it's fake. The opposition is a challenger of the status quo. Their role is to question, cast doubt, make you angry, tear things down. But when they fought and they have won, they have to take over and govern. And that is a totally different matter. All the small municipal issues that when you are opposition you keep complaining about and they try to amplify, they don't go away just because you take over. They are still there. The bird droppings still there, cleanliness still there, everything's still there. But now it becomes your problem. The nuts and bolts of intense technical decisions come in. You want to do one policy, benefit one group, don't benefit another group, you have to keng tao now, know how to do this. As a challenger, you don't have to care. Once you take over, you must take care of everyone.
I mean, I'm not watching some AI-generated video, right? This is the Straits Times, right? Is this the evolution to governance Ong mentioned? Real serious question. In the podcast, Ong mentioned using AI to get facts.
Do you use a lot of AI in your day-to-day
I
work?
use quite a bit.
Like
I use quite a bit.
social media or like what?
I use it, for example, to just find out some facts.
Okay.
Yeah. That I am confident that they will get it right. And I check across 2-3 platforms to make sure that they are quite consistent.
Yeah.
So it makes me a lot more efficient when I prepare documents, speeches. Yeah, because the facts are now so easily available. I can also run my speech through AI to say, please shorten.
Yeah.
And not be so naggy. And it's good. It's a humbling experience.
Okay, so does the PAP team understand that AI hallucinates and that you still have to read the original document? Is this the reason why PAP candidates keep misrepresenting other parties' proposals? Do they understand that AI is not completely neutral and that their bias is subject to the data it is trained on and the design of the model? Because I really want to see the evolving approach to politics that Ong talked about, not whatever persona Ong is putting up here. For example, he also dismissed the healthcare proposal by comparing it to magic and said that he couldn't figure out what the SDP is proposing.
Ran through their manifesto, got some sense of their speeches. They sounded like they want to redesign the whole healthcare system so that somehow, by magic, costs all come down, healthcare become more affordable. For someone like me, who actually have to design a healthcare system, develop policies, I cannot figure out what they are really proposing. They did have one important phrase in their manifesto. It is to move us to a single-payer system. I tell you, most of us listen to single-payer system. We say, "Simi
And I don't know why Ong is doing this, because in the podcast, he mentioned looking at other countries. So, for example, the Nordic countries, which are in Europe, have a single-payer system, meaning they are publicly funded and primarily provided by the government. They also have universal coverage, meaning every citizen is generally covered for healthcare services regardless of their income or employment status. This is a real healthcare system used by other countries. Other countries which can also watch this rally if they want to. This healthcare funding model is mentioned on page 19 of the SDP Healthcare Proposal PDF. As for what SDP wants, they mentioned that they want a single-payer, universal healthcare system in which the government manages a central health investment fund. You will notice that the proposal calls for an increase in government healthcare expenditure, so they do acknowledge that this has to come from somewhere. And feasibility aside, they did make some suggestions. It's also mentioned that this proposal would make MediShield and MediSave redundant. Yet, Ong claims that this wasn't mentioned by SDP.
You cannot run away if SDP really want to do single-payer system. You either get rid of all the subsidies or you get rid of MediShield Life. That's what single-payer means. If there's no subsidy, all hospital bills must be paid by health insurance, MediShield Life. What does it do to premium? Shoot through the roof. They never tell you, right? But if the other way is their idea, there's no MediShield Life, then you depend only on subsidy. Then your taxes will shoot through the roof. Taxes, income tax, GST, in order to pay for subsidy. They never tell you also.
We are not going to go through the whole speech, but I do want to point out that the last time the PAP threatened voters with not building public infrastructure, Aljunied happened.
But 2011 is when you lose a GRC.
Yeah.
And I suppose being in the thick of it, I also then realized people really want an alternate voice.
And I would like to ask if this is the kind of proper political discourse the PAP desires. The kind that can get people united. The kind that would ensure that the voices of 15,576 voters in Bukit Panjang, 12,787 in Bukit Batok, 5,894 in Yuhua, 36,100 in Holland Bukit Timah, and 40,690 in Marsiling UT are heard. Because this is what Ong Ye Kung said just a month ago.
we are still learning. It's a journey. I think it's a journey. It is very important that, domestically we get our politics right. That is actually fundamental. We talk about major uncertainties now, whether it's trade, whether it's security, pendulum swinging. Big changes are happening to the global order, to the trade regime. But I think in terms of, then you ask about cards. I talk about a few of the cards that we may have that makes us valuable, reliable, trustworthy partner for anyone in the world. But I think all this stem from some basic ingredients. Our people united. Secondly, if people are united, do we get our politics right? Politics right means discourse, there's proper discourse, political discourse. Voices are heard. Consensus can be built. Some people, you don't always get your way all the time, but you respect the outcome of that consensus building process. If we get that politics right, then I think Singapore is effective and functioning. Then I think we can influence the rest of the world.